It's been about 3 days since AJ Lee has been back in WWE, and now that we have officially processed the fact that it actually happened, that AJ Lee is officially back in WWE, the question now becomes, excuse me, the question now becomes, what are some dream matches that you would want to see? Well, there are actually 10 that come into mind. Here are the top 10 dream matches that I believe fans would want to see against AJ Lee. Coming in and number 10 is Chelsea Green. Much like AJ Lee, Chelsea Green has been known to be a disruptor in WWE. Let's let's not forget, even though AJ Lee holds the second longest reign as Divas champion ever at 295 days, Chelsea Green also had a lengthy reign as the United States champion, holding it for I believe well over 180 days, if I remember correctly. Let's take a look. Let's see. Let's see. If I remember correctly, she held the United States title. Chelsea Green held the United States title for 132 days, which is the current longest reign ever. Right now, that is the current longest reign. So the fact that the fact that Chelsea Green has been that big of a disruptor has definitely proven to be a worthy opponent for AJ Lee, and the fact that both women have made a huge impact on the women's division, that says a lot. That says a lot. Coming in at number 9 is Rhea Ripley. It's as I said when talking about Chelsea Green. Rhea Ripley has also been known to be a disruptor. She is the only person in WWE to hold the NXT UK Women's Title, the NXT Women's Title, the Raw Women's Title, the Women's Tag Team Titles, the SmackDown Women's Title, and the Women's World Title as well. In fact, Rhea Ripley is the only person to hold the Women's World Championship twice, and is also the last SmackDown Women's Champion and the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion as well. So the fact that Rhea Ripley has made that much history has definitely is proof of a worthy potential opponent for AJ Lee at some point down the road. Plus, when you really think about it, I believe Rhea said it in some interview that she actually watched how much of an impact AJ Lee had put on the women's division, which says a lot, because AJ Lee, fans never really believed that AJ Lee would be that would have made that much of an impact, but she did. She literally made that big of an impact on the women's division in WWE, and that's crazy. That is crazy. Speaking of things being crazy, coming in at number 8 is Nikki Bella. I know what you're thinking. You're probably asking yourself, wait a minute, Nikki Bella, why her? Let's be real. The only reason why Nikki Bella was able to defeat AJ Lee to become a Divas champion and hold the title for the time that she did, excuse me, which was at 301 days, excuse me, was because of her twin sister Brie. Let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real. And the fact that the fact that Nikki Bella has been able to, was able to hold on to the title for that long because of her sister proves that, again, Nikki Bella is another is has played is another player that played a huge factor on on the women's division of today, paving the way for women like Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, Ivy Nile, Sol Ruka, Zarya, Kalani Jordan, even also paving the way for some of the women on WWE Evolve, women like Kelly Armstrong, the current and first ever Evolve Women's Champion, Zeta Steele, Tyra May Steele, who else? Carmen Petrovich, Carly Bright, Kendall Gray, even also from Gintala as well, and also paving the way for some of the women that are on WWE LFG, which last night's episode was bizarre. That's all I can say. It was very, very bizarre. But women like Bailey Humphrey, Danny Sikelski, Hayes Jameson, Summer Sorrell, just to name a few. Even Serena Litton and Xena Sterling, who a lot of people are saying that she's the odds-on favorite to make it all the way to the finals again. And this Sunday is supposed to be the kickoff of the playoffs, so that'll be very interesting. So Nikki Bella had, both Nikki and AJ had become that much impactful that many fans want to see that match come to pass once again. They want to see Nikki Bella and AJ Lee go at it one more time, not for championships, not to become number one contender for anything, but strictly for bragging rights, to see who truly deserves to be the best and who deserves to be the trailblazer of the then Divas division all the way back in 2013 of WWE. So that could be a very interesting one, to say the very least. Coming in at number 7, speaking of the Divas division, Natalya. Natty knows AJ Lee quite well. Same thing with Nikki Bella. They both know AJ so well, especially with the infamous pipe bomb that AJ Lee dropped on the original cast of Total Divas, which I remember watching Total Divas after during the first season. After the first season, when they announced season 2, I kind of just stopped. I don't know why, but I was very intrigued. I was very intrigued by the fact that by the fact of what they were able to do outside of WWE, which is incredible. It basically reminded me of the new docuseries that's on Netflix right now called WWE Unreal, which season 2 will be coming out next year. So that'll definitely be cool to watch. But when you think about it, the moment AJ Lee got into WWE through NXT, Natalya had multiple opportunities at the Divas Championship at the time, but she never was able to achieve the goal of becoming champion. But the moment AJ Lee left WWE in 2015, that was when when Natalia was starting to receive all of these opportunities and winning all these different championships, accolades, and whatnot, including winning 6. You heard me right. 6 Guinness World Records for topics like most winningest superstar of all time. I think the most wins, the most wins in a female wrestler, the longest tenure for a female wrestler, just to name a couple. Even also becoming SmackDown Women's Champion, becoming Women's Tag Team Champion, receiving multiple opportunities at the AAA Reina de Reinas Championship in AAA. So the fact that was the case makes Natalia think that AJ Lee was holding Natalia back, and I can easily tell Natalia wants to fight AJ. So it's definitely a possibility. But this one, it's not just a possibility. It's going to happen. Coming in at number 6 is Becky Lynch. So we all saw last week on Raw where Becky Lynch slapped the holy hell out of CM Punk. Then this past Friday, she did it again, and then that was when AJ Lee returned. There was multiple altitudes of speculation of AJ Lee returning, and now that she is back, she's going after Becky Lynch and the Women's Intercontinental title. So I can easily say that this matchup is definitely going to happen one way or another, and it could happen at WrestlePalooza a week from this Saturday. So it'll definitely be very interesting, to say the very least. But I will say, I think when you look at women who have become disruptors in the wrestling business, Becky Lynch is definitely on that scale. Excuse me. Simply because of the fact that Becky Lynch became the first woman to win a WrestleMania main event. Literally, she was one of the first 3 to main event WrestleMania. That was back in WrestleMania 35 in 2019. Herself, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey, where the winner will become the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion, to which Becky Lynch did that by pinning Ronda Rousey. So the fact that Becky Lynch has made that much history proves that what AJ Lee has done worked. It literally worked, and it got the fans over. And I have no doubt in my mind that this matchup would be a battle to see who is the better disruptor, who is the better history maker, and who's the better moment maker, if you will. And I think the answer might be obvious. Coming in at number 5 is Stephanie Vaquer. Think about this, right? Stephanie Vaquer has been hella dominant since coming to WWE late last year in 2024. Think about this. She's the only woman in NXT to hold both the NXT Women's title and the NXT Women's North American title in a single run, which is huge. History made right there. And when you think about it, Stephanie Vaquer with Lola Vice, and I do remember it because I talked about it on my channel a few months ago. Stephanie Vaquer and Lola Vice defeated the team of Chica Tormenta and Dalis La Caribena in an intense women's tag team match. So the fact that took place was the big proof that Stephanie Vaquer was indeed ready for the main roster, and I believe with with how much she has done in WWE so far, that could really be a potential great first opponent for AJ Lee coming back, after being gone for a decade. But who knows? Who knows? Next up is Asuka. This is actually one that makes sense because much like against women like Rhea Ripley and Natalia and Becky, this one could really be. This one is definitely one that makes sense because if you look at a battle between Rhea Ripley and AJ Lee, it would be a battle of the submissions. Would it be the Black Widow? It would literally be the Black Widow versus the Prism Trap. And then for Natty, it would be the Black Widow versus the Sharpshooter. For Becky, it would be the Black Widow versus the Disarmer. And then for Asuka, it would be the Black Widow versus the Asuka Lock. Which submission is more vicious, right? Which one is more more impactful, if you will. And I think honestly, because that Asuka didn't have that doesn't have a finisher, which is other than the Asuka Lock, one could argue that could be a really good first match, a good first match against AJ Lee, which is actually one that I would love to see. But coming in at number 3 is Bayley. Kind of a weird one. I know that we haven't seen much of Bayley in the last month. I want to say the last month or two, maybe, or sorry, the last like 3 weeks. I would say the last month. I would say, but I think when you look at Bayley and what she has done, she reminds me so much of AJ Lee, a woman who many people did not see becoming a champion in WWE, and they both basically grew up WWE fans. So the fact that AJ Lee was Divas champion for 295 days, and Bayley was SmackDown Women's champion for a little over 400 days, is proof that even WWE fans that get into wrestling, that actually wrestle in the ring, can truly become a champion. This one would definitely be one for the record books. Coming in at number 2, this is now these next two might be the most obvious, but coming in at number 2 is Io Sky. The fact that Io Sky is so methodical in the ring with her kicks, with her striking ability, and with her high flying skills, could really give AJ Lee a run for her money. Enough said. I think that could definitely become a really cool matchup to see. But coming in at number 1 might be the most obvious of them all, because she has been clamoring WWE to bring her back, and she is part of the Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez. So, to give some context on this, and this is just from what I had seen on social media, because Roxanne had talked about it in length in so many interviews. Even when she was a part of NXT, she always talked about AJ Lee, how that's her, her wrestling mother, or something like that, and how AJ Lee had impacted Roxanne's life for so long. This could be a really cool matchup for both women, because for Roxanne, it's a dream match. It is a dream match that she's been wanting for a long time. But for AJ Lee, it would be a good way to understand how can I explain it? To speak to speak Yu-Gi-Oh terms, how the meta of how the current WWE format, how the current meta works in WWE. Literally, that's what it would be, and for someone like Roxanne, AJ Lee could really give Roxanne a run for her money. So that being said, out of all 10 of these, the number one, the true number one that I would love to see AJ Lee work in the ring with would have to be Becky Lynch, strictly because of what Becky had done to CM Punk, not only last week on Raw, but this past Friday on SmackDown. But if you feel like that there is someone else that should have been in this list, or if you feel like that I missed someone, let me know down in the comments below. And that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want more top 10 videos in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.